A beautiful Sunday to you. On today's headline, the Defense Minister rates Tinubu's government 70% on security. US indicates about 30,000 Fulani militants active in Nigeria as NDLEA uncovers drug tunnel. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Joining us now to break down these headlines on today's State of the Matters is Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu. Good to have you once again, Ugochukwu.
Yeah, Cassie, happy Sunday to Nigerians, happy Sunday to those watching around the world. I know most of them, due to the time zone, but are going to church and come back, and some of them are sleeping, like those maybe in Australia and other parts of the world. But we are reaching out to them wherever they are, because it's one world, one globe, and we are here to, talk about how the policies and the politics of Nigeria is raging, because it's hotting up, especially with the back and forth on INEC timetable, and parties also not leveraging on the court ruling, but everybody is rushing to conclude their primaries before the end of May, so as not to be caught in the webs of the uncertainty of our judiciary.
All right, thank you so much, Ugochukwu. Let's quickly dive into what we actually have. So the Nigerian's Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, has rated the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration between 25% and 70% on national security performance. He made that statement in a TV interview where he stated that in a TV interview to mark the administration's third anniversary, the minister actually defended the high score by arguing that the large-scale terrorist attacks have drastically reduced, leaving mostly isolated criminals act. Now, we all know that 70% is an A academically. If you want to rate it in the academic world, 70% is approximately A, which is excellent result given the ongoing mass adoption, regular highway ambush, and displays of farming communities. How can anyone justify an A grade for security right now? And if Nigeria has truly improved by 70%, why are regional security outfits and local vigilance groups still doing the heavy lifting in many states? Because the Minister of Defense is busy saying that President Tinubu administration are performing so well and is giving them an A. So if they are doing so well, why are we still experiencing mass adoption, killing everywhere? The recent one that happened in your state, where children were being adopted, children of 2 years, little children. So if this Tinubu's administration have really improved, why are we still experiencing all these things?
Cassie, thank you for the question. And what would you expect from a minister that is eating fat from the pots of the Nigerian state? Like I was taught in Nigerian peoples and culture that they are our tenants. We pay their bills. They don't pay my bills. They are being taken care of with the state funds. And what do you expect again from a defense minister who was a member of the committee organizing the APC convention? What will you expect? A minister who was the chief security officer of a convention where in other climes they use private security organizations, leaving the normal task inherent in the office of the Minister of Defense. They don't know the weight of those things. When we talk, they say we don't like Tinubu administration. You always criticize government. But the government throws out the stone with which you throw back at them. If this is a country of seriousness, where people are concerned, Tell me what a minister of defense. He's not a minister of women affairs. He's not a humanitarian minister. He's not a minister for sports. A minister for defense, being a member of a committee of a particular political party, their national convention. Is it not absurd? Because we are here now, he was a member of that particular committee. And we questioned it. We raised eyebrow. We shouted that it has not. Because a minister should be serving the Nigerian nation and no longer a party man. No longer concerned about what the party ideology is. Rather, he should be focusing on the mandate of the president, which is nationalistic in nature. But all of them today are singing, on your mandate, we are lying flat. That is a nation. That is a military officer, trained military officer that got to the apex of the military rank in Nigeria, who was removed unceremoniously, only to be pacified with a mere minister of defense, where he will be answering the president, sir, that the office is occupying is at the whims and caprices of the president, who has the authority and the powers to hire and fire at any time. That is the minister you're talking about. What do you expect from such a person to say about the insecurity bedeviling Nigeria? Nothing. If not that you brought it up, I don't give such people that media hype, that cheap popularity which they seek. And you know me for that, Cassie, that I don't mention those people. This set of people that don't know the value and the weight the office they occupy carry. It's not the people you should give this kind of publicity. But because Nigerians are suffering, and for him to even not hide his face in shame in saying that the military efforts accounts for only 30% of security sources is a slap. That when you say that the duties of military is to wage external aggression against external aggression for the nation, the Nigerian soldiers and the military personnel and police personnel have been sent overseas on a peacekeeping mission, and they did wonderfully well. We will not forget very quickly Liberia, South Africa, Somalia, and other places that have gone, and they did exceptionally well. So when you talk about their responsibility, the remaining, listen to what he said, that the remaining 70% requires socio-economic intervention, good governance, and public cooperation. This is where he is shooting his principal, Bola Tinubu, on the foot, carrying the whole weight again and throwing back to Tinubu's doorstep. Who will provide the socio-economic intervention? Is it Ugochukwu or Kasi seated here? Is it not the president through his policies and the programs that will make the economy viable? Because when, according to Rotimi Amechi, he said that when criminality increases in the society when he was governor, he will know that there is no money. He will quickly go and pay teachers, pay civil servants, and pay contractors. Money will begin to flow in the society. What is the effort of Tinubu in curbing insecurity and joblessness? Because an idle mind is the devil's working tool. So, Cassie, good governance, who will provide it? Is it Ugochukwu that will go to UK and only make an arrangement and get a bargaining that only serves the interests of Lagos State? Is it Ugochukwu that will go to bilateral talks, and what I want is to use Nigeria as the dumping ground and not attracting any company, industry to Nigeria? Is it me that will provide it? So all what he said, he is now heaping it back on his master. And Cassie, this reminds me of what Lai Mohammed was doing under Buhari's administration, that the bandits and the terrorists have been technically defeated, that no part of Nigeria is being held. But today we know that bandits and terrorists are collecting tax in Nigeria, and they will kidnap school children and be calling billions. And we heard that they are demanding, those people in Oyo are demanding for 35 motorbikes. Have you not heard? And it is the government with the taxpayers' money that will go and carry those things and give them to secure the release of them. It is the same Tinubu under his watch that has voted billions of naira into security, defense, pumping it into the military, and we are seeing nothing about it. Nigerians are being kidnapped. Nigerians are being killed in their homes. Nigerians are being terrorized. The bandits are running helter-skelter. And the Sheikh Gumi has come out to tell us that they know those people even to their hideouts, to their homes, and they have their phone numbers.
All right,
so what is he telling us?
Ugochukwu, let's talk about funding and results. You know, the Tinubu administration has allocated trillions of naira to the defense budget. If the government deserves a 70% rating, why is there still visible lack of modern equipment, tactical gear, and welfare for forefront soldiers? And then the Minister of Defense, in his statement, he also said that he claimed that terrorism has reduced and has shifted to social vices like kidnapping and banditry. Is it realistic to label armed military-grade banditry that wipes entire family, entire community, entire village, render people homeless, makes mothers childless, and family members are losing their loved ones? Is it fair to actually attribute them to social vices?
You see, Cassie, when a man allows his stomach to control him, that's the kind of words you get from the man. When a man who should control his appetite, when a man should stand up as a man and speak truth to power, but the man allows his stomach, you know, when you're hungry, you can do anything. Is this weaponization of hunger that has led Nigerian youths into what we are seeing today. And the bourgeois, the elites, are doing it deliberately. So when such a man who is hungry for power, because if it were to be me, which I will not be him, that I was disgraced out of an exalted office where I command troops, where I give orders and people carry it out, and you're giving me a mere defense minister by proclamation, I don't think I will stoop so low to go and to collect such an offer. That is when you see when men begin to lose their value, when men begin to lose what they call integrity in Nigeria. Let him ask my good friend, Senator Alain Dume, if he had gone to his senatorial district, his own village, to stand for an election since the heightening of insurgency in Nigeria. And it is only in Nigeria that the government begins to paint and bring all manner of names and coloration to defend an armed group. But it didn't take them up to 24 hours to proscribe IPOB as a terrorist group. That's a nation. That's a country where we find ourselves, where we say United Nigeria, where we say one Nigeria. But where we have two laws, where you have the stick and carrot approach. You know, if Tucano jet, see, Cassie, you have not seen Tucano jet. If you have followed the manufacturing of Tucano jet and how much Nigeria paid during Buhari administration, when Obama refused to sell arms to Jonathan in 2015 to push back bandits, and Buhari came under Trump, he graciously granted Nigeria that Tucano jets that Nigeria procured can fight. Even any nation that had it in their armory is a threat to another nation. Do you know what happened? Because there is a clause that America said don't use it outside Northeast and Northwest. If not, you'll be seeing it in Rivers State and perhaps Imo State, where it will be operational, where they will test it, East might. But because it was limited to be used in the Northeast and North South, we speak through to them. They know all those things, but it's parked somewhere in the Air Force hangars in Bauchi State. That is the country you say you have a chief of defense staff. And they defend all those people by conjuring all manner of names coming from my good father, Lai Mohammed. He said that his grandchildren asked him why they call you Lai Lai. So they branded them bandits, branded them Fulani. If you call them Fulani herdsmen, you are the worst enemy You don't love Fulani, but I cannot say that an ethnic group that is over 15 million, that because of 30,000 or maybe fragmented number or negligible number, you now brand them names. But Cassie, if you ask me that this man is saying that the scoring Bola Ahmed Tinubu on defense after trillions of naira sunk in defense, and Nigerian children are in the bandits den, and Emir's palace have been overrun, and you have all these banditry, and people cannot go to their farm, and everywhere in Nigeria nowhere is safe. So you now score him 65% to 70%. Then we have sunk such an amount of money, and we don't see drones in Nigeria. There is no modern weapon. There is no new architectural design in order to fight the insurgency. And you're asking me a question that not only him, Musa is borrowing a leaf from what the National Security Advisor said, that these are our brothers. When you call bandits, when an Igbo man, why Igbo tribe is different is that they will tell you that I don't carry a bad child because I gave birth to the child. That the child is meant to be the child of the society. When it's bad for the parents. But when the child is good, it's for the whole community. That somebody, a national security advisor will say that don't deal with them, but they are quick to sell uniforms for them, rehabilitate them, and push them back, foster them on the people they have maimed, they have killed, and they have sacked their villages. And this is an army of occupation. When they come into a community, they sack them and occupy. And you are calling them bandits. Call them by the name terrorist group, and you find out that the Nigerian state will begin to deal with them.
Thank you so much, Ugochukwu. Let's quickly move away from that to another disturbing development, that where the U.S. has indicated about 30,000 Fulani militants active in Nigeria. They said that about 30,000 armed Fulani militants are operating across Nigeria. Now, I want you to match the statements with what the Minister of Defense actually said, that he rates Tinubu 65 to 70%. His administration on fighting insecurity in Nigeria.
Yes.
So how does this tally when the U.S. are saying that about 30% of Fulani militants are very much active in Nigeria? How do these two statements tally?
You see, that's why, Cassie, when we begin to talk about the Senate claims, although I believe what one particular man I always listen to over the radio says, he says that authority supervises authority, and sovereignty supervises sovereignty. Nigeria is a sovereign state, but you know that there are about 200 or 300 United States soldiers in Nigeria under the command of the AFRICOM. And you will also understand that Bola Ahmed Tinubu allowed that only to save his face. He will do everything possible to make sure that his second tenure is not compromised. But if not, how can another nation foster on you their own military, and they are leading the team? So if the report of the United States, I was listening last night when Trump's minister or one of his correspondents in Africa was giving him the breakdown of how the war on insurgency have been going in Nigeria, how they killed Abdul Bilal and all that in Nigeria. And I was like, that is how to go about it. But here, they don't give us all those breakdowns. They don't tell us what happens. You will hear that those children in Oyo State have been rescued. There's no casualty. You will tell us that they have killed 120 armed bandits. You don't see the footage. You don't see where they were burnt. You don't see where they were massacred. But if they kill our soldiers, we retrieve the bodies and we come and bury. So who is deceiving who in Nigeria? Insurgency and insecurity cannot be fought on lies. If you use lie, the lie Mohammed used during Buhari's administration, that is what has brought us here. If there was truthfulness in the account and the progress made during the Buhari administration, we will not be suffering this. I'm not blaming Tinubu's administration, but for America to come and tell us that it is 30,000, and Nigeria has suffered this more than 12 years. I mean, the insurgency. Even during Goodluck Jonathan's time, we have suffered it, and we have not been able to get the number of what we are fighting against. I know there are fragmentations, there are fallouts. Like the other day, you were calling a name for another faction of Boko Haram. We don't hear Boko Haram again these days. So most of those, they metamorphose when they fall out or when their leaders are killed. Other people tend to form another fragmentation of the same, but with the same ideology, with the same intent. Then when you know all those things, we have been able to have the number of what we are fighting against. And again, Cassie, when the Minister of Defense is telling us that we have achieved 70%, and America is telling us that we are fighting, that there were about 30,000 of them, you will now be able to say how many numbers do we have in the Nigerian army, Nigerian police, other security agencies, and like you said in the other leg of our story, you have vigilante groups, you have national vigilante, you have Amotekun, you have regional security outfits. What are there? Okay, so anybody that wants to go and join any government floated outfit, once they pay, because there are no jobs. Cassie, that is why we have not been able to win this war. And what are the welfare package given to the military or the armed forces? Those who are fighting, those who are retired, what have they been paid their severance allowances and their pensions and the monuments? The answer is no. So what are the assurances given to them and their families that if they die in the theater of war, that this will be the benefit their families will get? That's when you see them bring out their mind and fight.
Ugochukwu, sorry to interject you before you finally conclude. The NDLEA has actually discovered an underground cave where illicit drugs are being buried in somewhere in Kano State. How did a massive network of underground drug tunnels go undetected right under the nose of regional security intelligence?
Cassie, just before I dive into that, let me just conclude my thoughts.
We are actually behind time.
Yes, I will wrap it up in no time, because we are talking about insurgency, which is bedeviling our country, and they go hand in glove with drugs, because when those people are intoxicated, when they inhale all those drugs and all those conjured and mixed chemicals, it begins to intoxicate them. And that's why you see a human being using a knife and slaying another person's throat like a goat. That is the cause of it. And when government apprehends those people, they quietly rehabilitate them, sew uniform for them, give them money, and push them back to the society, Cassie. And you say you are fighting against insurgents. Those people become the informants, and you talk about recruitment of child soldiers by these 30,000. We are not only fighting about 30,000. They have their foot soldiers. They have women that are informants. They have people that they recruit in the village, because you cannot come to my house and steal and go out comfortably without an insider. Nothing happens without an insider. So we are not only, sorry to disapprove what you have said, we are not only fighting against 30,000. Those 30,000 are the people that came in and now recruited jobless youths. Some Nigerian doctors are the people treating them. Nigerian pharmacists are those manufacturing those drugs for them. Nigerian lawyers go to defend them. This Owo attack that they are talking about, is it not Nigerian lawyers that are defending them? Then when you talk about the massive discovery of cave tunnel in Kaduna, in Kano, by NDLEA, kudos to them for discovering it in Rimini, Kebbi, in area of Kano State. Illicit drug storage and consumption. And the Cassie, you now ask yourself, how many years have this existed? But you have You see that thing we talk about Nigeria, we pay lip service, we deceive ourselves. Kasi, do you know that why I say we deceive ourselves? In the same Kano, you have the Hizbah police. Do you know what is Hizbah police? They only go after people that are wearing short skirts, people that rape women, people that are drinking in the open place, alcohol, people that are selling alcohol. That is without them going into the bushes and into the desert and the unmanned areas in Kano State to find out where all these people are. We thank God that their camp has been busted. But is it only busting and burning the items? What about the sponsors? What about the cabals? Those who are importing those drugs and those who are, who are beneficiaries of the marketing of the marketing of those drugs. These are the people. If you have not gotten to them, we are doing in vain. But if we're able to track them down, I heard that about 19 people were arrested. If they were able to profile them and investigate them and be able to get the channel and break the channel of the transaction, then we will be able to say that we are fighting it. But I want to
thank you so much, Ugochukwu, for that analysis.
Yeah, I want to thank
really
their
against them time.
I want to thank their boss.
They will do more to that, and then many thanks to many thanks to the head of NDLEA. Yes, many thanks to him for this
retired General Buba Marwa.
And we hope that he does more as they progress. We've come to the end of the show, State of the Matters. Many thanks to Ugochukwu for joining us on the show. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Cassie, and happy Sunday, Nigerians.
And to you, our viewers, many thanks for watching. Do well to have a beautiful Sunday.